Take Two with Jerry and Debbie starts now.
Friday, TGIF, Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, getting underway here on EWTN Radio. Along with Debbie Georgianni, I am Jerry Usher and you. And Debbie, when we say the you part to our listeners, we always mean it, but especially when we have Unscripted, which we're doing today.
Very true. We come with nothing to the table.
Empty-handed.
Empty-handed, that's right. But we expect you to show up as you always do and call in. This is the number 833-288-3986. You can talk about almost anything, something that's weighing on your mind or your heart. You can ask some questions. We'll happily help out if we can about the faith. You can revisit past shows. You can make comments about them. You can suggest. Let me hint, we need some suggestions for our March calendar. You can suggest some future shows. Pretty much, you know what? This is what the Take Two family does. This is why Unscripted is very popular. So if you're listening right now and we have a lot of first-time callers. We have a lot of folks that are not Catholic. We have a lot of millennials that listen. We actually have a lot of children, a lot of youth that listen. So come on, you guys, dial this number and just share with the whole Take Two family what you're thinking about at 833-288-3986. No meat today. Did you see that all over Facebook this morning? Everybody was posting that. What was that thing? No meat for you. Remember that? Was that Saturday Night Live? No, that wasn't Saturday Night Live. What was that one? Where the guy said no meat for you? Seinfeld. Was that Seinfeld?
It's slipping my mind right now. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, somebody help us with that. Where Jerry and I are we just can't remember. Yeah. It was hilarious. No meat for you or no soup for you.
No soup for you. Rich is saying no soup for you. I just remember an old, was it Pink Floyd song? If you don't eat your meat, you can't get any pudding.
Jerry, hey, folks, it is Seinfeld. We were right.
Okay, all right. Yay. Well, we're spiraling downward fast here, you guys. So you got to help us out. 833-288-3986. Just picture it this way. Say, yes. If you could be in a room with Debbie and me and other Take Two family members, and we all were just having a conversation about whatever's going on in our lives, in our families' lives, in the world, in the church. Oh my goodness, folks! It's not as if there's nothing to talk about. Okay, I heard today, Debbie, just today, a couple of dioceses in Italy have canceled masses for, I guess, a couple weeks or something.
Northern Italy.
We got the coronavirus. We got just so many things going on. Heaven help us right now.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's happening. So we want to hear from you. If there's something that you'd like to talk about, this is your platform. So please do not sit this out. Do not be entertained. And please do not get started with your weekend yet. We need your help. So all you got to do is call in. Here's how it works. You call in, you speak to Ryan. He is, like we say this every time because we really do mean it. It's Jeff. It's Jeff today. Oh, it's not Ryan. You'll still like Jeff anyway. Okay, Jeff is really nice, and he's wonderful to talk to, and he'll speak to you for a few minutes. He'll put you on hold. You get to listen live, and then you'll just slip right into the conversation, just like we were in that virtual living room that Jerry was talking about. Now, if we were in your living room, we don't want you to throw anything at us because, well, we just don't. It's Friday. So just be nice. No, I'm just See, Jerry, I get punchy on Friday. I don't know what's the matter with me. I have a headache.
Do you?
I really do. Gigi, our facilitator for Inspired by Faith Book Club and Fellowship, gave me a great home remedy to do with Vicks Vapor Rub. And she told me to stick it behind my ears and on my temples of my head, and it's working. But I still have a headache. Yeah.
Well, if I ever have any maladies or anything, I'll get a hold of Gigi. It sounds like she's got the secret recipes, the secret formulas.
She's amazing. Yep, she's amazing.
Hey, folks, if you want to talk about how Lent is going, we're just a few days into it. Maybe you feel like, wow, I've blown it already. I gave something up and I lasted 24 hours. No, you can start again. You can start anew every day if you want. These are optional things that we do other than the things the church requires us to do, like on Wednesdays and Ash Wednesday and Good Friday. But let us know of how good of a start your Lent is off to if you'd like. 833-288-3986.
Well, we're doing, for the Inspired by Faith Book Club and Fellowship, we're doing the Give Up Worry for Lent, Gary Zimak's book. And folks, you're welcome to still join us. There's plenty of time. Just go to the Facebook Inspired by Faith Facebook page, and Gigi will happily welcome you to the club. We have over 120 folks right now doing the book together. And so my Lent is going really well, Jerry. I'm just really... It's amazing how Gary has just nailed it with this book. It's a great, great book. I can see why it's selling out on Amazon. What is this? And so now it's Michael Birchfield is answering the calls? I thought it was Jeff. What's going on here at Take Two? Is it Michael now? Michael Birchfield.
No elbows being thrown or anything. I'm screening today. No, I'm screening today.
Everybody wants to talk to our Take Two family. That's what it is, Jerry.
Yeah, right.
It's amazing. I love it. We love the team. We should thank the whole team. Rich Jesse, our producer. Ryan Penny, he's our call screener normally. Jeff Burson, he's our social media manager and expert. Michael McCall, Michael Birchfield. We have so many folks that have to help us do this show. Right, Jerry? It's too funny.
Yeah.
We've got to... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we've got some folks on the line, but a couple of lines are open, and it's Unscripted today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We leave the show calendar blank on the last Friday, or isn't it? Is it the last Friday of the month? I think it is.
We try to make it the last Friday, yes.
Yeah, and we got an extra day this month, so it's a leap year, so you might have some comments about that. But whatever's on your mind or your heart, are you burdened by something? Are you really happy about something? Mm-hmm. Some accomplishment by a child, somebody that you know and love has had a great achievement or something. Maybe you're praying hard for God to give you some kind of a blessing. You want to offer out a little prayer intention today. It's a kind of a collection of all of our shows combined, plus whatever you want to bring to the table.
Right. It's a great show. It goes very fast, so we need to hear from you. The number to dial is 833-288-3986. I want to put a special invitation out there for folks that are not Catholic that are listening. We'd love to hear from you. We so enjoy talking with you because you give us great ideas for show topics. So please call in. Welcome to the family. And you talked about leap year, Jerry. I just want to do a quick shout out to my goddaughter, Katie's husband. Was born on a leap year, so he only gets to celebrate every 4 years, and he's in his late 30s now. But anyway, his birthday is tomorrow.
So he's like 9 years old.
He's like 9. Yeah. So happy birthday, Jason, for tomorrow. But anyway, this is Unscripted Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Call us, will you? We're waiting for you.
In Making a Holy Lent, 40 meditations to prepare you for the Church's holiest season, EWTN host Father William Casey offers a compelling retreat designed to help you answer God's call to be people of faith, prayer, and devotion. Grow closer to God this season with Making a Holy Lent, now available at EWTNRC.com or call us at 1-800-854-6316.
Check out EWTN's official YouTube channel.
Just follow the link on our homepage at EWTN.com or go to YouTube.com/EWTN.
Watch EWTN's live shows or today's homily from the Daily Mass.
Click the upload button to see our most recent clips.
You can also find all of EWTN YouTube content by clicking the playlist button.
It's all on the official EWTN YouTube channel at YouTube.com/EWTN.
Visit today.
I worked in pro baseball for a long time, and we play on Sundays. And it was an easy excuse. I took the easy out and just didn't go to Mass. Got caught up in that whole selfishness, that whole, I can do it all. The times when I was struggling were the times I needed God the most. And now that I've come back and accepted God, my world has completely changed.
If you've been away from the Catholic Church for any reason, visit CatholicsComeHome.org today.
Friday. It's the last Friday of the month. And so we are taking your calls on basically whatever you're thinking about right now. If something is pressing on your mind or in your heart, you are welcome to join the conversation. We have, I think, one phone line still open there, so you get right through at 833-288-3986. And another show that we want to highlight for you is the Catholic Cafe, Making the Gospel Relevant. You'll hear that Saturday afternoons at 4 Eastern Time on most of these same EWTN affiliates. It's called the Catholic Cafe, Saturdays at 4 o'clock Eastern Time right here.
Okay, there is still an open phone line. Please pick that last line up at 833-288-3986. Hurry. We want to hear from you. Alan was first up, and I hope I get your city right. Javelin, Missouri, and you're listening on the EWTN app. Did I get that right, Alan? Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Joplin.
Okay, sorry. I knew I pronounced it wrong. Okay. There you go. Well, I love Missouri, by the way.
Correct. Yeah, thank you. So I had two things. I'm going to try and be quick. I wanted to just do a comment on yesterday's show, I think about materials or something. And I guess, my mind almost went blank. I was a little nervous. Okay, so I'm pretty good at not being too like materialistic and whatnot, but I did get this newer car about a month ago roughly. And at first I was kind of, I don't want the stuff eating in it, and, or drinks spilled, And then after like a few days, it happened pretty quick. I was like, you know what? I shouldn't be worried about that because this vehicle can't get me to heaven. And I just I've become much more laid back, with it. I'm not saying that people that keep their vehicles clean are bad people. That's just me personally. I was like, you know what? I'm not worried about it. If you want to eat in the car, That was my comment for, I just wanted to tell you about yesterday. And I had something else too.
Yeah, Alan, if I could just comment on that briefly. Debbie might have something to share as well.
Yeah.
But I'm just like you on this, exactly like you. And it even extends to, like, my house. If I clean house or occasionally, it gets to the point where I have to have a professional come in because, it's not gross, but I'm just kind of not all that clean and neat. But after the house has been cleaned, I'm the same way. I go into my bathroom and I brush my teeth and then I wipe down the faucet and just so it looks just like it did when the cleaning was done. And I'm just trying to keep up on all of that. And like you said, pretty soon you just go, oh, wow, what the heck? It's not it's going to get dirty again anyway. So I loved your take on that. Debbie, did you have any thoughts on that part of Alan's call?
Well, I only heard part of it, Alan, because I had a little bit of a bad connection, but it sounds like you didn't want to get like obsessed with keeping your car clean, and so you just said it's not worth it. It's just a vehicle to get you from point A to point B or whatever. So you said, whatever, it's okay if it gets like if somebody eats in the car or something like that. Did I get that right, Alan? I just wanted to make sure.
Yes, I got more laid back on it. I was like, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. See, I'm the wrong person to talk to, and just to let you know, because I have my car is like 12 years old, and everybody that gets in my car says it smells brand new because I'm like crazy about keeping my car clean. So I'm like the wrong person to talk to, but that's just my own problem that I have. My husband does eat in his car, and his car still is fine and looks great, and I admire him for having that ability not to let it get to him. So I'm probably the wrong person, but I will tell you, I'm working on it, Alan. I'm trying to keep that in mind, that it's just not that important. But for some reason, I like things that are very clean. So that's just me. But I admire you for realizing that, because that just goes to show that you're just moving forward on that spiritual journey, and really things are becoming, in your view, the proper perspective. You're being enlightened, and that's what we're called to do, is to grow closer to God. So this is a very inspirational call for me, Alan. So thank you for that.
No problem. And so am I would say the second thing?
Oh, sure. Go right ahead.
Okay. Yeah, and don't feel bad about keeping your car clean, by the way. It's nothing wrong with that at all, actually. But I had a suggestion. Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
I had a suggestion for a future show, and it's kind of funny, so don't feel bad if y'all push it back. But games or video games. I'm kind of a gamer myself, and I've been trying to do better and not, just going straight to playing video games for hours and, taking that, making it distract me from God. And I've done a lot better with that. Right now I'm working on trying to be thankful for the game and the entertainment and, fun and joy I get from it. So I just wanted to, hear what you all thought about that, maybe.
I have really strong thoughts on that. Debbie, you may as well. But
You go
Alan,
first.
just to give you an idea of how accommodating we are as a Take-Two family, I just put that on the show calendar for March 18th, okay? So,
What did you title it?
I didn't give it a title yet. I just playing too much video games, their impact, suggested by listener Alan. So.
Oh, I love that. See, Alan, you made it to our show calendar.
So maybe I'll reserve my thoughts. I think it's gone out of control. But Debbie, if you have any thoughts on the whole video
Well,
game
can
thing.
I? Yeah, I have a suggestion on. I understand why people want to relax. They have stressful days and things happening in their life, and that it is a stress reliever. I always tell people though, and I do this myself. Alan, tell me if you think that you could do this. Is I say, just do this if you can. Take 2 minutes before you do whatever you do to relax, so your entertainment, the gaming or whatever, even watching TV, take 2 minutes and pick up the Bible or pick up some spiritual reading that you have sitting on the table there or the catechism and read for 2 minutes out loud before you start that entertainment portion of your day, because it really changes the mindset. I can't explain it, but it's worked for me, Alan. I don't know if you've ever done that, but I think that would be a great, nice Lenten challenge. And by the way, while you're going to answer, because I think they just pulled your mic up, so I just figured it out, Jerry. This is how slow I am on Friday. Are you from Joplin, Missouri? Is it Joplin? Because they spelt it wrong on the... That's what I thought. Okay, see, Michael and Jeff, they're playing tricks on us today because it's Friday. And so, okay, now I know exactly where you are in Missouri. Okay, so what do you think about that, Alan?
Oh, I really appreciate the suggestion. I'm going to plan to do that. Thank you for that.
Cool. Yeah. You'll see it changes everything. As a matter of fact, I'll just give you a little heads up so won't keep you in suspense. What happens after you do that for a few times is you start to realize that your mind starts thinking of God. And so it changes the whole direction of that gaming experience. It's really interesting. I can't even explain it. You'll have to call us back and let us know if it worked for you.
All right. So again, March 18th, we'll put Alan's topic on the calendar about the proliferation, I guess you call it, or the impacts of video games. And by the way, I said I have strong feelings about that, and it's not this radical, can't be done, don't let your kids do it at all or anything like that. But I just think that there are impacts and effects that it's having on people who go to extremes in playing those games and stuff. We can talk about that coming up in a few weeks. So
yeah.
Thank you, Alan, for the
Thank
call.
you,
Where are we
Alan.
going next, Deb?
We've got full phone lines. This is exciting, but Alan's going to free up that line in just a few minutes. So if you want to jump on that line, dial 833-288-3986. Okay, you know what? The show team is really, I don't know what it is, Lent. They've got the Lenten humor going, Jerry. Jeff just told me to offer it up, that they're making a few little minor mistakes on the call thing. He said to offer it up. Do you think it's worth it for me to offer it up, Jerry, for this point?
I think this is so extreme. You could empty purgatory with this if you offer this up during the show today. I really believe that.
Okay, that's a deal. If Jerry said it, I believe it. Let's go to Connie. And Connie is in Kansas, listening on Alexa. And Connie is a first-time caller. Connie, you get our virtual bell. Welcome, Connie. I love your name. That's my mom's name. I love your name.
Thank you. And thanks for taking my call. I'm just wondering where we are with the stand tall rosaries. I wanted to get one, but I didn't have enough information about it.
Okay. Well, actually, hopefully next week, we've got some big announcements, which would include the launch of a new part of our ministry, standtalltoday.com. You folks might want to bookmark that. Hopefully it'll be up maybe today, if not by Monday. And we will have the rosaries and other devotionals available there, and the faith-inspired jewelry, and just our webinars and book club. It's going to be kind of the hub of the Take Two Stand Tall ministry. And these rosaries that Connie's asking about, It grew out of an idea that I had, and I shared it with Debbie, and we both loved it. And I'll briefly explain the idea of the rosary. Debbie can talk about it materially and so forth, but the first decade of the rosary is all the same size beads. They're kind of the smaller of the two types of beads that are used, and that's sort of to represent early in our lives where we have ideals and hopes and dreams, and God willing, things are going pretty smoothly. Then the second, third, and fourth decades have a mixture of the smaller beads with a little bit larger bead. So it's kind of imperfect. It's not uniform. And that's to represent how our lives, life crashes in on us and things get out of whack a little bit. We have our ups, downs, challenges, trials, and all of that. But then we get to the fifth decade, and hopefully what that represents is at the end of it all, we're working with God to make our lives better. We found our purpose. We're coming in smoothly toward the end. So, Debbie, I hope that I did that justice. But Debbie and I have our rosaries, and I am in love with it. I'm absolutely in love with it.
Yeah. Connie, it's very unique. It really changes the way, and as a matter of fact, we know this too because we've had a few of our ministry support team that are praying with the rosary right now, and they have commented it's very, very unique. It changes the way you feel. Even the texture of the beads, everything was hand done. There's no two alike, and it has a very antique-ish look. Because we wanted to have you keep in mind that our church is over 2,000 years old. Okay, so it doesn't have that shiny new feel. It has that very old world looking, vintage looking feel. And then we had in the connector in the centerpiece, it has of course the Blessed Mother, which we handpicked the image of the Blessed Mother. And then on the back of it, it has the Stand Tall logo, which Stand Tall. The tall part is an acronym for Take Another Look at Life. So it's a great one of those specialty rosaries. We have it in bronze and we have it in black. We also have the St. Michael Carr Rosary, which is the non-reflective that has the St. Michael flat medallion and the Guardian Angel one as well to keep in your car. We have the complete Express Novena because we are very big on the St. Teresa of Calcutta Express Novena, the Memorare. So those are all be available next week, and I hope that helps. They're very exciting. I'm not trying to, believe me, I've got the inventory here in Arizona, okay, and I've got to tell you that it is very attractive to people. So I would suggest, I'm not trying to push, multiple sales, but if you get one, you may want to give one as a gift because a lot of people are getting two or requesting two because they want to give one as a gift. So I hope that helps, Connie. What do you think?
Oh, that's great. One quick question. We do have to have them blessed once we receive them, right?
Yes, that is true. Yes, have them blessed. Yeah,
okay.
we don't, don't, right. Yeah, typically, it's my understanding that you don't ever really want to sell anything blessed. So it has to be blessed after it is, there's a money transaction. Right.
Yes, that's what I was always taught.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, I know. But sometimes you'll see things. It's interesting. Now I've seen things that says, oh, this is blessed or this was touched to a relic or something. It's kind of interesting. But I was always taught never to, you're always, when you get an item, it is not blessed and then it becomes a sacramental. So it releases those beautiful graces. So yes, please get it blessed. And please tell the deacon or priest who's blessing it exactly what this unique rosary is. Because we went to a men's conference in Phoenix a couple weeks ago, Jerry and I, and we were at the one of the exhibitor tables, and some of the priests, our vicar general for Phoenix, was just amazed at how unique this rosary is. So you may want to, do a little catechesis there with them too. So,
thank you, Connie, for your call.
I certainly will.
God bless you. Have a beautiful Lent, Connie, and we hope to hear from you again pretty soon. 833-288-3986. You bring the topic with your phone call to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And up next is Sandy in Tucson, Arizona. First-time caller listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Sandy. Welcome to Take Two.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great today. How are you?
Pretty good, except that I feel like I blew my Lent already, just at 8 o'clock Mass.
How did you do that?
Some people seem to think that because they go to Mass every day, when they sit in the same pew, it's their pew. Mm-hmm. And if you go and sit in their seat there, you're asked to leave because it's, go to another seat because this is their pew. That happened to me this morning again, and it really annoyed me. And I said, you can't reserve seats for Mass. But I did get up and move, but I was very annoyed, and like I said, I don't think it's right, but it's also not right that I should be annoyed at such a petty thing, and I felt badly about that. Would you comment?
Sure, I would comment. Sandy, I worked in the parish level for over 25 years, and I did a lot of parish talks for Catholic radio, and so this used to happen to me all the time, even as a staff member. I would be sitting with my purse next to me, everything was all situated, and somebody would say, "Excuse me, that is my place." And it is the oddest thing, but it just happens that way in the church. People get very possessive of where they sit in the church. I don't think you should be so hard on yourself. I mean, it's understandable that it would get irritating for you, but I would not. I think that's one thing I just would not let it get deep inside of you to frustrate you, because that's their issue. And I've learned that's very quickly. I've had people actually right after Mass started actually asked me to leave the pew. And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Mass has started." And they're like, "Can you move?" And I'm like, "Okay." So that's their issue. I don't know. I just don't want you to think that you ruined Lent, because I don't think that would have ruined Lent for me. How about you, Jerry?
Yeah, hang on, Sandy, if you can. You hear that music? We got to let our affiliates do some local announcements, and when we come back, Sandy will continue with you, God willing, if you can stay on the line. We have David, Philip, Julia, and Keith, and we're going to try to get to each one of you on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, our unscripted show for February.
Father John Riccardo.
When you and I wake up every day, do we strive to know Jesus or not? Quick question to you and me right now. Is that what you and I are doing every single day?
The leading Catholic voices are on EWTN Radio.
Why do we need Catholic radio? Because not everybody's sitting in front of a computer or watching their television set at home. How about when driving to work? Catholic radio's there for you. I may be a Catholic priest, but I'm still a student of the faith, and Catholic radio helps supply good material, whether it be a question and answer format show, whether it be a show itself on doctrine or theology. I myself, as a priest, am always learning.
Father Wade thinks Catholic radio is important. So should you.
I'm Jerry Usher.
And I'm Debbie Georgiani. We want to tell you about the Inspired by Faith Book Club.
Join us as we gather together and read a featured inspirational book each month and engage in meaningful discussions together.
Want to participate? The details are simple and can be found at jerryanddebbie.com by clicking on the Book Club tab.
Invite your friends and let's spend some quality time in fellowship with the Inspired by Faith Book Club at jerryanddebbie.com.
EWTN is now on Twitter. Get short, timely messages from EWTN on your computer or cell phone. It's easy to stay up to date on a wide variety of topics. Pro-life news, Vatican announcements, catechesis, apologetics, the latest EWTN programming, and more. You can link to EWTN on Twitter from our homepage or go to twitter.com/EWTN. At work, at home, at school, and on the road. Stay connected to your world with EWTN's Twitter page.
I'm Gloria Purvis.
I'm Monsignor Charles Pope.
And I'm Deacon Harold. The Morning Glory team discusses what steps have you taken to make others feel welcome in your parish.
Monday morning, 7 Eastern. Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
This is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Thank the show team. Thank the affiliates for airing the program. We appreciate that. On this Unscripted Friday, we're talking with Sandy in Tucson, Arizona. And Sandy, just a couple quick comments, and then we'll let you go because I'm sure you have a busy day. But you were a little bit worried that maybe you kind of had already dropped the ball on your Lenten disciplines and what have you.
Because that first thing in the morning I was snippy at Lent. I thought, well, that's not the way to be. But I was also annoyed because this is an ongoing thing, and it's no great evil, I know, but I think it's very irritating.
Well, yeah, and as you said it's an ongoing thing. That's exactly what I was going to say. Lent is kind of a time of practice. You know, Debbie always says practice makes permanent. And Lent, I mean, all the year round, we should be trying to better ourselves, work on little things that need to be worked on, big things that need to be worked on, but especially during Lent. And the beautiful thing is, St. Teresa of Calcutta said, you know, begin anew. I think it was she who said that. Every day we can begin anew. So it's almost, you can almost erase it all as if it didn't happen this time, and see what happens next time. And I would also just add, in a non-judgmental way, whoever this person was, or anytime somebody does something like that, again, not judgingly, but just say, God, I pray that you will bless them. I pray that you will give them whatever they need to draw closer to you. And so you can use it as an opportunity to really pray for somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, I will.
Right. And Sandy, be at peace about it. I think you're such a beautiful soul to even bring this up, and just know you're not alone. People are very possessive of where they sit in the church. They just are. It's just the way it is. So you're cool, Sandy. I think you're awesome, and plus you're from Tucson, and so that's only about an hour and a half from where I sit in Gilbert, Arizona. So
thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Sandy. Real quick, Deb, why do you think it is? Why do you think it is that we are such creatures of habit that we have to have that same spot in the church every time we go to Mass?
Because it's familiar and it's comfortable to people, and they know what to expect. I think sometimes people are very uneasy in church. If you ever looked out, if you've ever been facing towards the parishioners, towards the congregation, you'll see that people are very sometimes uncomfortable, and so they like that. They like that safe place that they know who's going to be around them. Yeah, I really do. That's my personal feeling of it. I'm a people watcher, and working in the church, you did a lot of time to watch people.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, moving along. David is in Derby, Kansas, listening on Catholic Radio Network, and another first-time caller to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hello, David. Thanks for your call and your patience.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. You had the open topics. I just wanted to share a story with you. It's kind of a sad story, but kind of a positive ending to it. We live in Kansas, and about 25 years ago, we had moved out to Missouri for 4 years and met another Catholic couple out there that had 4 kids just like we had. They were all the same ages, and we just got so closely connected with that family. And then, like I said, 4 years later, we had to move back to Kansas. And where we live now, there's about 60 trains a day that go by our house. And it's very annoying. I've always been irritated. And, last November, Michelle, from the couple that we knew out there, something bad was happening in her life. And they live right next to a train track. And she decided to end her life by standing out. Can't even talk about it. Standing out in front of the train. And so ever since that day, every time these trains go by, I just say Hail Marys for Michelle. And I don't notice the trains anymore. I mean, I don't. So it was just such a blessing to be able to do something positive for her. Yeah. And it also took away irritants that I've had all the time with these trains. So I just wanted to share that and thought if other people have irritants, just turn to Mary and just every time something irritates them, just say Hail Mary.
Yeah, David, so sorry to hear about this. And Michelle was one of the daughters in the family. Is that what you said?
No, she was the wife of the couple.
The wife and the mother. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the mother. Yeah, and she was a wonderful woman. We met them. I think it was through Boy Scouts that I met him, and then through them met her. And my wife went into her house and said, "Oh, are you Catholic?" And she said, "Very." Kind of very stern voice. And then at that point, they invited us to go to their church. And we were going to church about 8 miles from us. And I said, well, we'll go once. Theirs is 20 miles away. And it was a little tiny Catholic church up in the trees on a hill. And it was the most wonderful place. And so we started going there. And Michelle made hundreds of rosaries. She had a club. And I don't know how many, and the nice, beautiful rosaries, and they send them all over the world. And so I never pressed Pat at the funeral about what the grief was in her life, what happened, but it was just such a shock because she was just a wonderful, wonderful person.
Yeah. It sounds like it, yeah, and we entrust her to the Lord. I'm sure you and so many have done that, David, and all the good that she did. Just think of the countless rosaries that have been prayed on those rosaries that she made. But just a quick comment. It probably was some type of depression, maybe not necessarily, but I think they certainly go hand in hand. As someone who's been through depression before, it really kind of prevents you from thinking clearly in a lot of instances, and sometimes you feel like you got to get out of it, and unfortunately we don't realize, we don't stop to ponder the fact that if we get out of the earthly pain, then it could just be the beginning of pain after this life, hopefully not hell but maybe purgatory, we don't know. But I can relate to this so much, and I'm so sorry that this happened. And I hope, Debbie, maybe we can add Michelle's name to our
and the
book.
whole family.
Yeah,
I
her
just
whole family
did.
is what I was thinking. Yeah,
I added Michelle and her whole family, David. David, I just wanted to say something real quickly. She is your sister in Christ, and you had a, friendship with her and her family. And for whatever reason, like Jerry said, whatever, mental state she was in, emotional state, whatever pain she was in, whatever she was dealing with, it caused her to go to this extreme measure to get out of it. I don't believe there was any accident, though, that there was a connection with the train and then the annoyance of the trains where you lived, and then you are praying for her every time you hear a train. I would also say, David, you just shared this with an entire global audience. I will tell you that every time I hear a train, and I hear trains like 2 times a day in my area, I will be thinking of Michelle. So you just passed on a worldwide initiative, if you will, to pray for Michelle and her family, and that's what we are all called to do as the body of Christ. So I just want to say, David, thank you for stepping up. I don't even know if you realized you just initiated that. Did you realize that?
Well, thank you. I was glad to share it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow, it's so sad when it's just so sad when people, are at that place where they just want to get relief from whatever pain they're in.
David, do you know how the rest of the family is doing at this time?
No, I think they're the day after the funeral, we had gone to dinner with them just to see them all again, all the kids and their little kids, and they were all in good spirits at the dinner. But that was the day after, so I don't know what kind of face they're putting on. We're thinking about inviting Pat to come out and visit us whenever he can, and we're going to try to get back to visit him more, and it just, I don't know. We just keep praying is all we can do.
Yeah, and I agree with Debbie. You've got a worldwide Take Two family praying for this, praying for Michelle and her family. And thank you, David. Thank you and your wife for being such good friends to them, and especially now at this time, because when this happens in a lot of families, quite frankly, the surviving family members, people support them for a short time and really want to uphold them, and then, after some days or weeks, kind of just abandon them in a sense. So thank you, David, for being there. We appreciate that, and we'll pray for you and all of your intentions as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, David. Okay, Philip is up next in San Antonio, Texas, Guadalupe Radio Network. That's the way you're listening, Philip, and you're a first-time caller. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you, Jerry and Debbie.
Sure.
It's pleasant to be with you. So this is, I guess, the open, I can remember the word you said. It's, unscripted day today. So,
yes,
and I heard you were asking for callers, so I wanted to call in. So I do have a question, comment, a concern, something that I'd like to get some maybe opinion from Jerry and Debbie, hear what you guys have to say about a movie that's out. I haven't seen it. I don't know too much about it, but just to give some background, my fiance has a son that's at an impressionable age, like he's a teenager, and we like to go see movies that we all might enjoy, family, and of course I want to be there for them as a father figure. And I had your question about how this movie is. It's about actually taking revenge on people who were in the World War II and the Nazis, and they're just going out and killing these people. So is this just what's the difference between revenge and maybe the virtue of vengeance? Is this movie, what kind of movie is this? Do you have any idea how this pertains to, I mean, when I look at it, I'm like, okay, so you can't achieve a good by doing something evil, and so I don't know if I would go see this movie myself or invite, you know, sort of a family to go see this movie. So that's my first question, I guess. I don't know if y'all have seen it.
I am not a movie goer. I think I've seen, since I went to the Passion of the Christ, whenever that came out, 15 years ago. So I think I've been to one or two movies. I went and saw the movie about Steve Jobs, and then I saw Unplanned. So I don't really go to a lot of movies. So as far as, you know, knowing what movie it is or recommending something, I know I can't. And Debbie, I know maybe a good place for Philip to go would be to Stephen Gradanis's website.
And that is, what's that, decentfilms.com?
Decentfilms.com. He does,
right.
Philip, he does review. He's a Catholic deacon and a father of about 7 or 8 kids, I think. So
right.
That was the last count anyway. So decentfilms.com is a good resource.
Right. And then also, Philip, Jeff, our social media manager, is saying that this is some kind of mini series and it's streaming. So that may not be reviewed by his ministry, Jerry, because I think he does like actual movies that are in the theaters. But Philip, here's just my general comment on this, because I used to be in youth ministry for many years, and I worked with young adults. This is what I used to tell the teens and the young adults. Okay, there's a lot of people's ideas of movies, and some are loosely based on true events, and then they take it and they expand it and they make it into something that is movie, you know, enticing and quality. I used to always tell the teens, you know, be very careful, because those images that you see on screen, you're never going to be able to erase them. And that's why I used to always tell young adults and teens, do not go see demonic movies. Do not go see movies that are heavily violent, because you cannot get those images out of your head. And even subconsciously, those images will still surface. So that's what I've always told teens and young adults. And I'll tell you what, I've always, and I used to tell my kids this, you know, when you set your eyes on something, you're never going to get it out of your head. So you better make sure that whatever you set your eyes on is something that is, you know, of God or closely to God, or you're going to be in trouble down the road. So that's always been my thoughts on it. I don't know, Philip, if that could help, but if maybe just generally for even, you know, thinking about seeing anything, because there's a lot of violent stuff out there right now as well, and a lot of demonic stuff. It's really creepy. What do you think, Philip?
Yeah, that sounds great. Thanks for commenting, Debbie. No, I can hear my mother's voice saying something similar. So I think that's a very good response.
We call her Mother Debbie around here.
All right. So also I just wanted to, I guess, share my joy of with you guys, because y'all are very joyful to listen to on the air, and say thanks a lot for doing what you do. So I guess, Debbie, you also mentioned if you're very particularly happy about something, then call in. So that's probably what made me call in. So I'm soon to be, I'm engaged. I'm soon to be married and become an instant dad. So just wanted to share my joy with you all and just offer it up for goodness.
Absolutely. Well, Philip, as soon as you said that your fiance, I had actually put you in our book. So we started praying for you and your fiance and your new family. And so we started praying for that. So early congratulations. And we just hope you're just having a wonderful preparation, and the marriage is truly, just beautiful and sacramental and just wonderful. Do we have a date? We obviously have a date for the marriage, right? Do we have a date?
Yes. So beginning the date, our anniversary and date has been Christmas Eve. Although that may seem maybe troublesome for some family members, but we've been trying to plan it around that time because that's the day we met and the day I proposed. So, December 24th.
Wow. Well, God bless you. And you know, Philip, keep God at the center of your marriage. Like Fulton Sheen always says, make him the center of your marriage and your family, and do everything you can with protecting your marriage and family, because as we know in this world, it's under attack. And so we need strong leaders to keep the family safe, Philip. So God bless you. And we are praying for you. The Take Two family is praying for you as you continue on this beautiful journey to marriage.
Amen. Thank you, Philip, for your phone call. Appreciate it. You can hear the joy in your voice. 833-288-3986. It's Unscripted on the last Friday of the month on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And Debbie Stantall Allison weighed in on the kind of where we sit in the same pew at church issue that was discussed earlier. She said, here's something your caller Sandy might appreciate. Our deacon was sitting praying in a completely empty church well before Mass when he felt a tap on his shoulder and turned to find a gentleman standing there. The man said, excuse me, but you're sitting in my pew. It was so unexpected and so unbelievable that all the deacon could do was laugh as he moved to another seat. So maybe Allison is suggesting maybe Sandy could think about laughing at the situation, and there's always offer it up. Don't waste the grace. Right. And she says, by the way, they can't do that in heaven. So she's got a good point there. Thanks, That's Allison.
True. Right. That was great. Julia is up next in Massachusetts, listening on the EWTN app. Hi, Julia. Welcome.
Hi, Jerry and Debbie. How are you today?
Doing well. How are you?
Yeah.
I'm very well, thank you. I'm calling basically as a sidebar to yesterday's subject about materialism. I have absolutely no problem with getting rid of, quote, stuff. I've been purging my house of many, many years of books and record albums and clothes and CDs. And I have 40-year-old furniture, and my clothes come from the St. Vincent store. So I guess you can't call me addicted to material things. However, what I really have a problem with is letting go of anything with sentimental attachment. I'm purging two packed full cardboard boxes full of mementos from family and friends. And by that I mean newspaper clippings, obituaries, greeting cards, anytime my name or picture was in the paper, things like that, and I'm trying to organize in some sort of semblance. I shred 44 pounds of financial records, anything that you don't have to keep beyond 7 years. Mm-hmm. So what I'm trying to do as I'm handling all this paperwork is when I see an obituary of someone who died, I can say a prayer for that person and then not feel guilty putting the obituary in the shredding pile, if you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So I'm using this as a Lenten exercise.
Wow.
Beautiful.
So yeah, go ahead, Julia.
But I have a question for you because it's almost a moral dilemma for me. I get all kinds of material from different ministries and missions and shrines and so forth, offering me Mass cards and rosaries and blessed oil and things that I honestly don't think that I will use in my lifetime. I have it right now in a credenza because I didn't want to throw it away, but if it's not blessed, how can you get rid of it gracefully?
Boy, I'll tell you, you hit a really interesting question. That's the same problem my mother had, as she had boxes and boxes from all these different missions that she gave money to that sent her all sorts of things. Guess what we did? We called St. Vincent de Paul, and they picked everything up.
Okay.
St. Vincent de Paul, call them and tell them your dilemma. That's what I love about St. Vincent de Paul. Everybody should be giving everything to St. Vincent de Paul. They're so awesome. I love them. In fact, I have a hat that I wear.
I give to them and I get from them too.
Yeah. Call St. Vincent de Paul and tell them your dilemma, Julia. They'll really help you.
Okay. Well, I actually don't have to call them because there's a store not too far from me, and I can just go down there.
There you go. Yeah, it's always difficult. And when they're not blessed, it makes it much easier. But if they're blessed, you can also, pass them on to other people, letting them know that they're blessed. And I did that as well. I also gave them to different, back to different missions, the blessed items. So there's all sorts of things. But yeah, you got to get creative. But yeah, you can do it. This is a great call, Julia. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much. Have a beautiful Friday of Lent and a continuation of your Lenten season on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're going to go next to Houston, Texas, and talk with Keith. And he is a first-time caller. Hello, Keith. Good to have you with us. Welcome.
How you guys doing today? God bless you.
Oh, God bless you, Keith.
I have a question. I'm a first-time caller. God showed the last couple of hours, and I was very intrigued and very attracted to it. And I just have a question about, I've been dealing with a few dilemmas in my life in the 7 to 8 months with some ups and downs with work. What is a good prayer to pray to keep you hold with your faith?
Right. While you're going through things that are hitting you, Keith, so, things are coming at you, that it maybe some setbacks in life, different things are happening to you. Keith, if that's happening to you right now, you're in a very wonderful position to free fall into God's arms, Keith. Listen closely to me. I'm telling you this because I've been there. I've had so many things happen to me where I should have been, 10 miles backwards. And I had a great spiritual director tell me, free fall into God's arms and stay close to Jesus. Keep saying, even just Jesus, I trust in you. You don't even have to do some elaborate prayers, Keith. Just Jesus, I trust in you. Say it 1,000,000 times a day. And I'll tell you what, Keith, the good Lord is preparing your comeback. Listen closely to me. Your setback, whatever it is in life, the good Lord is preparing your comeback, Keith. You have to stay hopeful. You got to stay hopeful. Please, Keith, I'm begging you on that, because that's what Satan wants all of us to do. He wants us to get really down and we just give up. We can never give up. If we say we believe in Christ, we got to hang on and free fall into his arms, Keith. That's my advice. Jerry, I'm sorry. I just had to say that because I felt very strongly attached to Keith's situation.
Actually, I was going to mention those same exact 4 words. Jesus, I trust in you. And Keith, it's not always easy. We have the Bible passage, Keith, you're probably familiar with it, when Jesus was walking on the water and he says to Peter, step out of the boat and walk on water. Well, sometimes we just sort of, romanticize stories like this, thinking, well, this is biblical stuff. It may have happened, but it was special circumstances or whatever. Peter was fully human. And he showed that humanity when the scripture passage says he took his eyes off of Jesus and then he started to sink. But then what happened? Jesus grabbed him by the arm and picked him up, put him in the boat. So whether we feel like we're walking on water sometimes, Keith, Jesus is really always there. So please, what do you think about what Debbie was sharing and what I added there?
That's awesome. That's some awesome words, and I'll continue to apply that to my life, because that's one of the main things I do. I call on Jesus every second, every minute, every hour of the day. In the midst of that, it's amazing how I go through things, but it's still people calls me and want a godly advice from me, and it seems like I can easily give it to them, but can't apply it to myself. It's hard for me to apply it to myself.
Right. Happens to all of us, Keith. And that's why you just have to be reminded and by other folks who believe in Christ as well, your family, your Take Two family, us. And guess what, Keith? You better start feeling the prayers, because the Take Two family is going to be praying for you. And I'm telling you, you're going to see things happen. So we support one another in this. So I thank you for calling in and voicing this. And now we can start ramping up our prayers for you, Keith.
All right. Have a blessed day, brother. Thanks for calling. Real quickly, we got an email from Tom, and this is for Julia. He says, tell her to give this stuff to her local SPSC. I think that's St. Paul Street Evangelization team to give out to non-Catholics.
Yes, that too.
And also, Stand Tall Allison sent another quick email because the Take Two family has been praying for her friend Kathy, who suffered from a brain tumor, and she passed away yesterday morning and is now in the arms of her beloved Lord and Savior. So you're right, Stand Tall Allison. She says, I'm sure you'll be praying for her family and her soul. You better believe the whole Take Two family will be.
Absolutely. And real quickly, we couldn't get to Mary and Teresa and Regina and Randy. We're so sorry. Join us on the next Unscripted. But Barry, listen closely. Please go visit rosesweet.com. rosesweet.com, Barry, because there might be some help there. Rose can help you come back into the church. So please go to rosesweet.com. Jerry, it's been a great Unscripted.
It has. Yeah, Barry, if you go to Rose's site, great. If you want to, email us at take2@EWTN.com. But again, Rose's site is rosesweet.com. Have a beautiful and blessed weekend, everyone. Thank you for your listenership and being part of the Take Two family. God bless.
Dr. Ray Guarendi, making a commitment to the wives. When the show's on, put the radio under your husband's pillow. The percentage of yes dears will rise. The doctor is in next.
The wisdom of Mother Angelica.
Don't you feel sometime like there's so many people in the world? How does he hear your prayer? Never think of that, huh? Everybody thinks that. I'm only a little grain of sand on the seashore. Oh, but that's not true. See, God is God. And you and I have to let God be God. I don't know how he does it. He's God.
For more information on Mother Angelica, visit Religious Catalog at EWTNRC.com.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
Welcome to our meditation for Lent, for the first Friday in Lent, or the Friday after Ash Wednesday. The subject I'd like to ask you to look at today is that one you were afraid I was going to get to, fasting. Now, I'm not somebody who particularly likes to fast. I like to work, but I don't like to fast. It says in the Bible, in the book of Sirach, if a man fasts for his sins and goes and does the same thing again, who will listen to his prayer? To keep from wickedness is pleasing to the Lord. To forsake unrighteousness is atonement. So that the first requirement of fasting is that we avoid voluntary sinful behavior. But there is the other kind of fasting, the giving up of delicious things, the moderation of the appetites. In Lent, it's always been a Catholic custom to have one major meal, two little small collations or minor meals, and not to eat between meals. Actually, fasting was an important part of American life a century and a half ago when the country was predominantly Protestant. 2 or 3 times during the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln put the whole country on a day of fast and abstinence. Fasting isn't particularly popular in our culture of fast foods. That's the kind of fast we like. Everybody likes to have munchies. It means that if we decided to fast, we could do it quite well because we'd have much to give up. I'd suggest to everybody who's listening to me, Catholics and non-Catholics alike, that we try a little fasting. And I'll get around later in this series to telling you what we could do with the money we save by not indulging ourselves in munchies. Because there are a great many people in the world who really don't have enough to eat. And we might look for ways to make their burden a little lighter. And in that way, fulfill the words of Jesus, I was hungry and you gave me to eat.
There is tremendous power in prayer because when we acknowledge that we don't have the power, but God does, things then begin to move for our good. Remember Matthew 19:26. But Jesus looked at them and said to them, with men, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. Now that's power.
If you want to change a behavior that's really hard for you, maybe look at what triggers that bad habit and attack that. If you're overeating and you tell yourself, I shouldn't do that, I'd agree, you shouldn't. But if the thing that triggers you to overeat is that you don't feel good about yourself, all you're doing by mentally reprimanding yourself is setting yourself up to fail again. Get off the crazy train. Maybe when you're tempted to overeat, you should do something that makes you feel great about yourself, like working out or helping another person. If you're tempted to lust, if your trigger's loneliness, don't sit there and try to battle your favorite sin. Call a friend and go grab some coffee. If exhaustion triggers you to anger, maybe waking up and taking a cold shower as your penance isn't the best idea. Reflect on the source of your favorite vice and attack the source. When you do that, the sin often disappears. Send us a message at connect@reallifecatholic.com. This is Chris Stefanik from reallifecatholic.com on EWTN.